Hello, Vihaan and William. Let's take a look at your game. And one thing that was really super cool about this is that William played the fork trick. So that's great. So when we get this position, the best move is knight takes e4, and William did it. Big thumbs up to you. Very well done. All right, so knight takes e4, d5, and here for white, the thing to do is to play bishop to d3. So black takes, we recapture, we're threatening bishop takes c6 check, and then knight takes e5. So black should go bishop to d6, and the position is about equal. The thing is, with bishop takes d5, yes, we do get a pawn back for our piece, so it ends up being equal material, but here black gets the two bishops. White only has the bishop and knight, and so this actually ends up being in black's favor. So white played knight to c3, and here something very important. So I always suggest that we ask ourselves, even if just kind of subconsciously, but we kind of take a quick look to see what is the point of my opponent's last move. And you might think it's very natural to just give a single answer to that question. The danger with that is that you might say, well, the point of moving the knight was that it was attacked, and so the knight just had to go somewhere to save itself and went to c3. All of that's true, but it's not the full story. The full story is that it's also attacking the black queen, so we've got to notice that. So that is critical, right? It's not just why did the knight move, but also what is it doing now that it's there, and that's a big deal. So here, I think black probably just thought, well, great, the knight moved away, and now I can keep going forward here. And black played e4, but of course there's a big problem with this, which is that the queen is hanging with knight takes d5. All right, so we'll come back to this in a second. So two things I want to say. So first of all, what black should do is play either queen to a5 or queen to d6. Even bringing the queen all the way back to d8 is not bad. The other thing I want to say is about e4, that before you've castled, that's really dangerous. So let's say, for instance, that white played knight to g3, and you played e4 here. So here you're not losing the queen. But I think the pawn is still going to get into a lot of trouble. White plays queen to e2, pinning the pawn and ganging up on it. So now white has two pieces attacking it. Let's say f5, and now we go d3. We attack it a third time. And now there's not any way for black to defend it a third time. So white is going to win the pawn here, and it's a very good center pawn to collect as well. So I would say before you push a pawn like this, a lot of the time, I mean, you know, you'll kind of develop a feel for when you can and when you can't. But in general, before you play really actively, especially as black, generally you want to finish your development first, and only then engage in some kind of active operations in the center. Okay, so back to the game. So knight c3, e4, and knight takes d5. And I would say now that actually both sides kind of make the same mistake that I was mentioning before, where you ask, you know, well, why is the knight on d5? And you just say, well, because it took a queen. That's true, but once again, there's a further point, which is that the knight is now threatening to take the pawn on c7. So its adventures need not be at an end here. So black should play bishop to d6 rather than taking the knight. It's hard to not take the knight. I mean, it's there. The pawn is just, you know, itching to grab it, but it's better to play bishop d6 and make sure that we don't lose the rook in the corner. So black played this, and white surprisingly did not spot knight takes c7, or maybe did spot it, but was a little bit too worried about this guy. So g takes f3. Again, black should defend the c7 pawn, but when here, again, white can take, but castled. What was funny is that in this position here, after bishop to e6, now white did notice it and played knight takes c7. So well done. I mean, it could have been done earlier, but yeah, better late than never. Just one last thing at the very end of the game. So white's up a ton of stuff, and I was surprised that here the last move of the game is given as bishop to f4. So quick little quiz, not a tough one, but a little quiz. So white to move and checkmate in one, and you've got two solutions. So solution number one is queen to e8, and solution number two is rook to a8. So they're both kind of back rank mates, especially queen to e8, and it's funny that the rook on h7 serves the function usually performed by a pawn in locking in the black king. All right, so yeah, again, kudos to William for playing knight takes e4. Well done. But, you know, here we got to get into the habit of asking not just why did the knight move maybe, but what can it do now that it's there, right? Whenever our opponent makes a move, is there a threat? And if there is, figuring out what we're going to do about it. All right, so I hope that's beneficial to you. I will talk to you soon, I hope. Take care, be well, bye-bye.